So the last thing we're going to talk about with vehicles is we've talked about buying a new vehicle, leasing a new vehicle, buying a used vehicle, as well as some of the costs involved in maintaining that vehicle. Every vehicle in Manitoba has to be insured, right? And the whole purpose of insurance is protecting you and others in case accidents happen with your vehicle that cause damage to the vehicle or that cause damage to people, injuries to people. Okay? And in Manitoba, the company that runs vehicle insurance is Manitoba Public Insurance, or MPI. And the program that they use that you purchase your vehicle insurance is called AutoPack. Okay? And AutoPack is the insurance, like I said, that compensates you for your vehicle's damage if you get into an accident, or if you also have injuries and you have to pay out money. And it also compensates others for the same if the accident is your fault. When you buy insurance, you will purchase the basic coverage, which consists of these three things. Okay? So the basic all perils coverage compensates Manitobans against accidental loss or damage to their vehicles that happens in Canada or the US. Okay? So that's damage to vehicles or loss of vehicles, as in they're stolen. The Personal Injury Protection Plan compensates Manitobans for any injuries caused by an accident involving vehicles. And again, doesn't matter who's at fault, or sorry, in this case, it doesn't matter who's at fault, or whether the accident occurred in Canada or the US. Okay? And the third-party liability gives you a certain amount of coverage for claims made against you, okay? If the vehicle you're driving damages another vehicle or other property, or whether the vehicle you're driving causes injury to other people. Okay, so basically it's covering your vehicle against damage or loss, it's covering you, it's covering others. And part of what you get when you get your vehicle insurance is called your deductible, okay? Your deductible is how much you have to pay if you get into an accident, okay? And it's your fault, or if your vehicle's stolen. Common deductibles are $500 and $200. Okay, so for example, you get into an accident, it's your fault because you rear-ended somebody. You don't have to pay all the damages to your vehicle and the other vehicle, you just pay $200. Okay, but if you sustain a lot of, or if you get into a lot of accidents, that's going to affect your vehicle insurance down the road, which I'll talk about in a second. Okay. So when an accident happens, you make an AutoPack claim. Absolutely. I mean, that would be a suspension of your license. You won't even be able to drive your vehicle. Okay. So you make a claim. So you get into an accident. Both of you get out. You have to swap driver's license information. You have to swap insurance information. And then each of you has to report to AutoPack. And then it's up to AutoPack to decide, okay, who's at fault and where do we go from here? So maybe you get into an accident where you rear end somebody. You guys are driving down Academy Road, somebody slams on the brakes in front of you, you rear end them. And there's damage to your front bumper and their rear bumper. Okay, but nobody's hurt.
chances are in that case, you're going to be at fault. Okay. Very rare. I don't even know if there's a case where if you rear end somebody else, it's not your fault.
Isn't it like, if you rear end, it's your fault, and like, it's.
Well, then it depends. Then it depends.
Isn't it if you hit the back, or if you T-bone them, you're at fault, and then the other way around?
Yeah, often, well, not necessarily, because like, okay, I got T-boned a long time ago when I was driving in River Heights, and I was driving down Fleet Street, and a guy was, he had a stop sign. But when I went through, he accelerated and he hit me. He's 100% at fault. Okay. But let's say it was a traffic light, okay? And I come up to a red light. This guy's got the green, and I decide I'm going to go through. And then, right. But even though he'll T-bone me, right? Right, exactly. Yeah. So paying for all of that, what you pay, well, it depends on a certain number of things. Where you live in Manitoba. Manitoba is split up into 4 territories. So depending on which territory you live in, that dictates part of what you pay. Your vehicle use, I mentioned this last time, or not last time, but previously. You have the option to purchase all-purpose passenger vehicle insurance, which means that you're covered for if you're driving for pleasure, if you're driving for work or school or business, you're covered. If you get pleasure passenger vehicle, it's cheaper than all-purpose. Okay, but you can only use it so much for traveling to and from work or school and for business. And these are the restrictions on it. Like you can only go to school, to and from work or school up to 4 days in 1 month and not more than 1,609 kilometers a year. Okay. So, you know, you may think, oh, well, I'll just get this and it'll be fine. Nobody's going to check. But if you get into an accident, right, then it could be a complicated situation. The type of vehicle you own dictates your auto pack. We call it auto pack premium, which is basically the cost of your insurance. Okay, so your vehicle's year, make, and model. Some vehicles have a lower claim risk because it could be, well, the probability of vehicles getting stolen, like certain vehicles have a higher probability of getting stolen than other vehicles. Okay, how well and it says here, you know, how well your vehicle protects occupants, resists theft, withstands collisions. So if you've got a really, you know, safe vehicle or what's deemed a safe vehicle, that can affect how much you pay in insurance. And finally, and this is the last thing I want to talk about, your driving record. Okay, are you guys driving? Yeah, are you driving?
Yeah, but I need to take the road test.
Oh, okay. So what happens, and this is something that you really want to sort of keep in mind, is, I mean, chances are you may not pay your vehicle insurance. You'll just pay your driver's license. Okay? But at some point in the future, you guys are going to have your own vehicle and you're going to be paying your own insurance. So in Manitoba, depending on how well you drive and if you got into any accidents, that can dictate how much you pay for your insurance. And they do it on the merit system. And that's on this page. So as soon as you get one merit, you get a discount on your vehicle insurance.
We
Okay.
discount.
You get a discount. So it'll be, here's how much your vehicle insurance, but you've got one merit, so we're taking 5% off. So if your driving record is clean for like 17 years, your vehicle insurance is up to 40% off.
Once you get in an accident, does it like go back to zero?
No,
Or
it'll reduce, like, I think, I'm trying to remember, I think I told you I backed into my garage and I got a letter from MPI and I think they said it was either I lost 2 or 3 merit points. So I went, because I was at 17, because I've been driving for a long time. So I either go down to 15 or 14. So if I go down to 14, I'm going to have to pay more for my vehicle insurance. If I only go down 2, I'm still at 40%. Okay, so I'm still okay. But I think I went down 3. But you can recover those. So, you know, if you've got at least 1 year of claim-free driving, you're not getting into accidents. Okay? If you get into many accidents, or if you've got a lot of traffic convictions, like a bunch of parking fines or speeding tickets or things like that, okay, you could end up going below 0 merits into the negatives, in which case you'd have demerit. And then you can see some of the things here. Every year you have safe driving, you move up 1 level. Okay, so if you've been driving for a couple of years, and if you haven't got into any accidents or any traffic conviction, or you haven't piled up any traffic convictions or speeding tickets or stuff like that, if you decide to buy a vehicle, you'll be at like +2. Okay, but an at-fault accident, well, it says it lowers it by 5 levels. I didn't think I was lowered by 5. Because the accident I had, I mean, obviously I'm at fault because nobody else was involved. It was me. But I didn't think I was. I have to check the letter I got from them again, because what would that do to me? That would take me down to 32%. And then I would have to, in order to get back up, I'd have to have 5 years of safe and claim-free driving.
Is that the legal agreement?
Sorry?
That is like 1% damage in the accident, but you don't.
Then a claim is through, you're held responsible. Although you might both decide not to. That's possible too. Because sometimes car repairs or vehicle repairs are really expensive. So, may not, I'm thinking the opposite, may not be that expensive. Like maybe there was a couple of scratches to a bumper or something like that, and they can be buffed out. Okay, and it's not going to cost very much. Then both parties may decide, okay, I'll just pay you privately for that, because they don't want to have that on their record and lose points. Okay, so that can happen sometimes. But I mean, if it's a really big accident, like when I got T-boned, they wrote my vehicle off. They wouldn't even repair it, because my vehicle was, it was over 10 years old, had a lot of kilometers on it. And the damage that was done to the right side was just so extensive. They gave me, I think they gave me $5,000-6,000 for it. But then I had to purchase another vehicle. Well, what were you going to ask, Steve?
So like this, like you have to safe drive over in your, is that the only way you can get it?
Yes. Yeah. And as well as remaining accident free,
So
which is obviously safe driving.
we are just like not hurt.
What's that?
Would you just like contract with Ringer to do this?
And if you have a license,
If what's going on?
yes. Yeah, because they don't keep track of how much you drive. That would be impossible. Right?
Okay,